Thinking about getting your first livestock? Hold up, because I've seen beginners lose big in their first year and been there myself. It's rarely because they didn't care. It's because they weren't warned them about the mistakes I'm about to show you. In this video, I'll walk you through all 7. And if you stick around until number 1, I'll reveal the biggest lie social media sells you about farming. The one that quietly drives half of new livestock owners to quit within 5 years. Number 7. Not all livestock are built for the same job. Let's start with one of the most expensive mistakes beginners make: buying the wrong animals for the wrong purpose. I see this constantly at Tractor Supply every spring. People buy those adorable little Cornish cross chicks thinking they're going to get a steady supply of backyard eggs. But here's the reality. Cornish cross are meat birds only. They've been bred to grow so fast that by 7 or 8 weeks, their legs literally can't hold their weight anymore. That's by design. They're not meant to live a long, happy life scratching in the yard or take silky chickens. They're everywhere on Instagram, fluffy, cute, and people think they're buying an egg-laying machine. But silkies only lay around 100 eggs a year. That's less than a quarter of what a good production hen will give you. They're amazing for brooding and ornamental purposes, but they are not a solution if you want steady breakfast eggs. And then there are miniature cattle. These are marketed as the perfect backyard cow for small acreage farms. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Birthing complications are more common in mini breeds. If you're new, you might not be prepared for the vet bills, the bottle feeding, and sometimes losses. Even within the same species, the differences are huge. Holsteins are designed for maximum milk output, but they're feed-heavy and need constant management. Compare that to Angus, which are built for beef efficiency. Different goals, different diets, different economics. And here's a stat that shocked me. According to a nationwide extension survey, more than 60% of first-time poultry owners accidentally buy the wrong breed for their goals. That's a lot of frustrated farmers. The takeaway here: before you bring any animal home, research why that breed was developed and make sure it matches your goals. A little time up front can save you months of frustration and hundreds of dollars later. And while picking the wrong breed can set you back, the next mistake on this list, it can wipe out your entire herd before you even know what hit you. Number 6. Parasites will kill your animals faster than predators. Most beginners think predators are their biggest threat: fox, coyotes, hawks, bobcats. But the truth is, predators aren't even close to the #1 killer of backyard livestock. Parasites are. And if you're getting goats or sheep, this is the mistake that wipes out more herds than anything else. The worst offender is the barber pole worm. It's tiny, invisible, and deadly. These worms can kill a goat or lamb in less than 48 hours, and the terrifying part is you usually don't see the signs until it's too late. One day your animal is happily grazing, the next it's weak, pale, and down. First-time owners get blindsided. Overgrazed pastures make the problem worse since animals keep eating right where parasite eggs hatch. Wet weather accelerates outbreaks. And if you're not checking eyelid color for anemia, what's called the FAMACHA test, you might have no idea what's happening until you lose animals. A study from the University of Georgia found that first-year goat owners lose up to 40% of their kids to parasites. 40%. That's nearly half your herd gone before you even realize what's happening. The good news is you can prevent most of it. Rotational grazing is critical. Let pastures rest for 30 to 45 days so worm cycles break. Do regular fecal checks and have a plan for deworming. And don't just deworm everything blindly. That creates resistance, which is a growing issue. Treat strategically and stay ahead of the problem. This one mistake catches almost every first-time goat and sheep owner I talk to. But if you learn to manage parasites early, you'll save yourself heartbreak, money, and a lot of dead animals. And speaking of heartbreak, the next mistake on the list has cost entire flocks in a single night. Number 5. Free range isn't free, it's risky. We've all seen the videos. Chickens running through green pastures, ducks splashing in ponds, happy little animals living their best lives. It looks incredible, right? But here's the part you don't see on Instagram. Free ranging without protection is one of the fastest ways to lose your animals. I've talked to so many beginners who thought, I'll just let them roam, they'll be healthier and happier. And then one morning, they wake up to find half the flock gone. A fox figured out the schedule. A raccoon tunneled in overnight. Or the neighbor's dog wandered through and killed 10 birds in one afternoon. It's not just predators either. Backyard chickens that roam too far often end up on the road. Goats will escape and eat every single plant you care about, except the grass you actually want them to eat. And pigs without controlled paddocks can tear up your pastures so badly you'll be reseeding the land for years and pulling tractors out of ditches. Now, free-ranging can work, but you need boundaries. Mobile tractors for chickens, electric netting for goats, secure paddock systems for pigs. Those setups give you controlled freedom without the losses. Freedom without protection isn't freedom. It's heartbreak waiting to happen. And while predators are a big enough problem, the next mistake on the list doesn't just risk your animals. It could quietly cost you thousands of dollars before you even realize what's happening. Number 4, that cute bottle baby could cost you more than you think. If you've ever walked through a livestock auction or scrolled Craigslist, you've seen them. Tiny baby goats, lambs, and calves, all looking up at you with those big, sweet eyes. The seller says they just need a bottle for a few weeks. Perfect for beginners. And a lot of first-time farmers think, how hard can it be? I'll bond with it, raise it by hand, and it'll be my baby. But here's the truth almost nobody tells you. Bottle babies are some risky livestock. Here's why. Bottle babies are often orphaned, rejected, or sold off early because there's already a problem. Maybe they didn't get enough colostrum from mom. Maybe they're already carrying parasites. Maybe they were weak to begin with. That means by the time you bring them home, they've got a compromised immune system before you've even started. And bottle feeding isn't just about cuddles and Instagram photos. It's work. We're talking around-the-clock feedings, day and night for weeks. If the formula mix is even slightly off, they can bloat or develop diarrhea. Coccidiosis, pneumonia, and parasite overload are common in bottle babies, and most beginners aren't ready for it. I know someone who bought 2 adorable bottle-fed lambs from Craigslist. They spent $300 on the animals, $150 on supplies, and weeks of sleepless nights feeding every 4 hours, only to lose both lambs to coccidiosis. The seller didn't mention, if you're just starting out, don't set yourself up for heartbreak. Pay more for healthy, weaned animals from a reputable breeder. It'll save you money, time, and emotional stress in the long run. And speaking of emotional stress, the next mistake is one that catches thousands of first-time farmers off guard every single year. It looks harmless. But if you don't plan ahead, it can turn into a constant, messy, exhausting nightmare. Number 3, ducks, geese, and chickens are not interchangeable. A lot of beginners assume that poultry is poultry. If you can raise chickens, you can raise ducks. If you can raise ducks, you can raise geese. Easy, right? Wrong. Ducks, geese, and chickens all have totally different care needs. And if you try to treat them the same, you're going to run into problems fast. Let's start with ducks. Ducks need water, not just for drinking, but for dunking their heads and keeping their sinuses clear. Without it, they develop respiratory infections that can kill them. And yes, a kiddie pool works. You don't need a fancy pond, but you have to manage the water carefully. Ducks make an unbelievable mess, and if you don't keep things clean, the smell and bacteria buildup will knock you flat. Then there are geese. A lot of people buy them thinking they'll be these peaceful lawn grazers, and sometimes they are. But they're also territorial and can be aggressive, especially during breeding season. I've seen beginner farms where kids can't even walk to the garden without getting chased by a hissing goose. And when you mix ducks, chickens, and geese together without planning, it gets worse. Chickens kick bedding into water sources. Ducks soak everything. The humidity spikes, bacteria grows, and suddenly you've got respiratory outbreaks spreading across your flock. Here's the rule. Each species needs its own housing, water plan, and space. Yes, you can keep some together with careful design, but assuming you can toss them all into one pen is a recipe for disease, fights, and dead birds. If you want poultry to work on your homestead, plan their setups individually from the start. You'll save yourself a ton of money and frustration. And that brings us to mistake number 2, one that beginners rarely see coming until it's too late. You bought the animals, you built the pens, but your land isn't ready for them, and that can quietly wreck both your pasture and your wallet. Number 2, your pasture isn't ready for the animals you want. Here's a mistake that almost every beginner makes, and it doesn't show up until it's too late. You bring home your goats, your sheep, your pigs, maybe even a little cow, and you assume your land will just handle it, but pastures don't magically maintain themselves. If you don't manage them, you'll burn through your forage, destroy your soil structure, and create the perfect breeding ground for parasites. I've seen beginners wipe out entire pastures in less than a season because they didn't understand stocking density. That's the number of animals your land can actually support. Put too many animals on too little space, and the grass never recovers. Suddenly, you're spending thousands on hay and bagged feed just to keep them alive. Goats and sheep are some of the worst offenders if unmanaged. They're browsers, not grazers, and they'll strip your trees and brush bare before you realize what's happening. Then there are pigs. If they're not rotated properly, they'll root up your pasture so aggressively you'll be left with mud pits instead of grass. And horses? In wet seasons, they can compact your soil beyond recovery, leaving permanent damage. This is why experienced farmers always say, plan for your pasture first, animals second. Before you buy, learn your carrying capacity. Understand your grass species, your recovery windows, and how rotational grazing works. Even a simple 2-paddock system can make a massive difference. Because here's the hard truth. Animals can rebuild land, or they can destroy it. That depends entirely on you. And speaking of destroying things, there's one last mistake we have to talk about. This is the one that drives more beginner failures than anything else. It's not predators, it's not parasites, and it's not money. It's what happens when people believe what they see online. Number 1, romantic farming videos lie to you. Let's be honest, if you've spent any time on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram looking at farm content, you've seen the highlight reels. Perfectly clean barns, baby goats wearing sweaters, happy kids collecting eggs in wicker baskets while sunlight pours through the trees. It looks peaceful, simple, magical even. And a lot of beginners think, I want that life, I want to live like that. Which can be amazing, it really is, but be prepared. But here's the truth. Those videos rarely show you the reality. They don't show you bottle feeding a half-frozen lamb at 3 a.m. They don't show you burying your favorite hen after a hawk attack. They don't show you writing a $800 vet check for a goat that still doesn't make it. Romantic farming videos create expectations that don't match reality. And when your first season doesn't look like theirs, it's easy to feel like you're failing, like you're not cut out for this life. But you're not failing. You're just seeing the part nobody posts but everyone experiences. Real farming is messy. It's unpredictable. It's long days, early mornings, broken fences, sick animals, and tough calls. And that's the point of this video. It's not to scare you away from livestock. It's to make sure you don't become one of the countless beginners who quit after the first year. So here's my challenge for you. If you're thinking about getting livestock, do the research now. Don't buy into the highlight reels. Build your system before you bring animals home. That's how you save yourself money, stress, and, most importantly, your animals. Before we go, we wanted to share that there is an awesome new app in the US called Red Hen. It's a marketplace for farms and customers to connect. Farms can list things like backyard chicken eggs, customers can find those awesome eggs and buy them in just a few clicks. Anything from eggs to meat, veggies, and more. They even added hatching eggs so you can find the perfect breed for your small farm, so download it and check it out if you are in the US. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you wish someone had told you before you brought home your first animals? Drop it in the comments. Your advice could literally save someone else's entire flock or herd. And if this video helped you, hit like so more new farmers can find it. Subscribe if you want no fluff, experience-based advice on raising healthy, happy livestock. And turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.